Trey Lance. I had an interesting theory for why I think Kyle would take Trey Lance.
Okay.
Because of the fact he's so new to the quarterback position, unlike Justin Fields, I think he can really mold him into the quarterback he really wants him to be.
Totally agree.
And he can make him into a Kirk Cousins if he wants to, or a more athletic Kirk.
Clay. He's totally Clay, because the thing about you talk about accuracy, mechanics. It's hard to change your mechanics if you've been throwing a certain way since you're 5 years old. Justin Fields is the kind of guy who's been playing football his whole life, baseball his whole life. He's been going to these camps. He's been working on his mechanics. It may be ingrained the way Kaepernick was. That's another baseball player.
Yep.
Lance was a basketball player. He's totally new to all of this. It seems like he's not necessarily ingrained in anything.
Nope.
And you can find out, that's why it's important to have these private workouts with him now. He looks like at 21. He's 20. He's 19.
And another report I heard too was that there's a ex-quarterback, I forgot his name, that Kyle worked with. That
John Beck.
John Beck. He was the one that's
been
working out with Trey Lance the last 2 weeks to get a feel for him. I think that's another interesting thing because Kyle trusts John Beck. And it's the only dude that I think John Beck has worked with, the only quarterback that he's worked with out of these top 4 or 5 quarterbacks. Yeah. So I think that's another interesting to it.
So if John Beck gives him a glowing report, that's going to carry a lot of weight with Kyle Shanahan.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. And then, like you said earlier, too, about him being able to make the calls, the line of scrimmage, and, do the protections and all that, that's obviously added to it as well. But I just think if knowing he could turn him into the quarterback he wants him to be, I just think that's where it's going to really come into play. And my comfort for Trey Lance, if it tends to work out the right way, or even could be better than this, I think he could be like a Dak Prescott. When I watch him, he kind of runs like a big running quarterback like Dak is, because Dak is a big dude, I think he's a little bit taller than Dak, if I'm not mistaken, but the overall their stocky build and whatnot, and their throwing motion, I think, is very similar. Yeah. Overall, though, I think he can just really do, and also to Justin Fields, like you said, that dudes that have played quarterback since they were 10, 11, 12, they're already stuck in their thought process and how they move and their
how they play,
their reads and not,
their decision making, their mechanics. Yes, they're ingrained.
And Trey Lance is kind of just learning on the fly. And with a guy like Kyle Shanahan, with the way everyone looks at him around the league, I think he can really say, hey, you know what? He's raw, but he's going to be my guy for the next 10 to 12 years. And no one's taught him anything before. So he's going to learn everything that I know in my system.
Yeah. And he's going to get a year on the bench. And he's so gifted and smart that if he is a better decision maker, there's a lot of easy throws in the Niners offense. I mean, you don't have to be super accurate to throw the slant or the swing route. You know what I mean? So I can see Kyle Shanahan selling himself on him.
And then the thing with Carson Wentz, because since they both went to North Dakota State, I also agree with what you said earlier about that analysis as well, about how Carson Wentz is a guy that takes a lot more chances and, is a lot more risky with his throwing. He was more like a Brett Favre wannabe of college, where Trey Lance is, kind of like Dak Prescott in a sense, because Dak Prescott is a guy
precise
who's the ball. Yes. He doesn't make crazy decisions. He's
a good decision maker. Yeah, that's a good comp. That is a really good comp.
Or maybe just a better version of Alex Smith, since he retired today too. So shout out to Alex Smith.
Absolutely.
How did you feel about the whole Kaepernick Alex Smith situation when that was happening?
I thought they made the right call going with Kaepernick. In retrospect, I think I was probably wrong. I think Alex Smith was playing so well in 2012. He might have won that Super Bowl. What's that?
I think a lot of us were wrong about that because everyone was on the Kaepernick train. And Alex Smith, in retrospect, was having the best QBR, I think, that season as well, of all the quarterbacks, even better than Aaron Rodgers. And it's unfortunate that he never really got the opportunity here in San Fran because of the 5 different coordinators in his first 5 seasons and getting resurrected by Harbaugh and whatnot. One more thing too. How did you feel about the whole Harbaugh situation when that went down with Jed York and whatnot?
I was on Harbaugh's side. Jed York messed that up. That was a relationship that he needed to keep going, and that was on him. That was totally on him. I think he felt like he wanted his team back, and Harbaugh had taken it over.
Oh, so you think it was a situation where the guys were just on Harbaugh's side and Jed was kind of trying to put his foot down in a way?
I just felt like Harbaugh cut him out. Like you're not involved. This is my team, and Jed wants to be involved. And Trent Baalke probably was talking in his ear like, "This guy is not as it's not so good." That kind of
I
stuff.
never understood why we kept Trent Baalke. He literally made no draft picks that were good.
Because Trent Baalke went out of his way to be friends with Jed York, and Harbaugh
that
did.
makes sense because all those picks that were there before, because Trent Baalke wasn't the GM until 2011, correct? Harbaugh's first year.
Yes.
All those picks were
2010. 2010 is his first year.
Okay, but like all the good players we had at that time though were of the last general manager. I forgot his name, but he got
McLuhan.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so like those were all his picks. So I don't know why you give the
true.
Baalke.
Jed York was a young man, and Trent Baalke, in my opinion, took advantage of him a little bit.
All I know is if Harbaugh was still our coach, we would have already won a Super Bowl by now, in my opinion.
Possible. All right, man. I got to take more calls, dude, but good call. Glad you're at home today, man.
Yeah.
Have a good one, man.